Naxxramas, Skull, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. What the hell? I believe Naxxramas came out in the summer of 2014, which means this was the first edition to Hearthstone of all time, guys. It was the first time we got an injection of new cards into the classic set, and therefore I made a PowerPoint. Okay. Hold on 1 second. This has to be movie magic here. 1 second. I made this. Okay. No one's allowed to laugh. Okay. You guys all agree? No one is allowed to laugh. Okay, deal. Do you know that Cleopatra's closer to Nax being out than she is to the Great Pyramids being built? XD. All right. So I decided to make a slideshow called "Was Nax Broken?" A PowerPoint by Rarran. And the point of this slideshow is to ask yourself whether or not Naxxramas was the most power creep we've ever seen in this game. Okay, now remember that's the thesis here. Was Naxxramas the most power creep that we've seen ever in this game? Also, if you could not tell, graphic design is my passion. All right. Before we look at how much power creep there was, we first have to ask ourselves, or we first have to look at classic Hearthstone, okay? In classic Hearthstone, there are 382 cards. I actually just Google searched that. I don't know if that's entirely correct. I felt like Crip was a very, good image to put here. But yeah, as we can tell from classic Hearthstone, there are a lot of very good cards, right? Let's go through some of the highlights, shall we, for nostalgia purposes. We got, hold on, let me go to, no, not all of these are part of Legacy, because obviously they don't have like a classical thing, and it's kind of annoying, right? They don't have one anymore. They used to have one, right? We got Wild Growth, which is sick. Yeah, like Wild Growth was really good. We got like Unleash the Hounds was awesome, right? Like we got some really good stuff there. Mana Worm the Goat, let's be completely honest here, like it was great. And we could go on and on. I don't know how much you guys really need to go through, classic Hearthstone. If you were there, you knew what cards were good and what cards weren't good. A lot of really bad cards, unfortunately. That's just the nature of card games in general. But we had some bangers, absolute bangers. But regardless, that's not the question at hand. And what's classic good? We know classic was good. The question is, was Nax the most power creep Hearthstone's ever seen? Oh, I'm on the wrong tab. All right. Example 1. And arguably the only example we need in this entire thing, Undertaker, which was a 1-mana 1/2. Whenever you summon a minion with Death Rattle, you gain +1/+1. Okay. I don't think that I need to show you guys any other cards here. But what do you mean, nice slide, dude? Keck W. What's wrong with the slide? What's wrong? What's wrong with? Oh. Okay. If you guys were not aware, Undertaker, during the era of Curse of Naxxramas, because Blizzard Entertainment did not want to nerf anything for some reason, this card single-handedly warped the game around it. In such a way that I would argue that Undertaker is the strongest card ever released into Hearthstone relative to when it was released. So I'm not saying that in 2026 Hearthstone Undertaker would rule the game, but during Naxxramas, it was absolutely disgusting. And often, if you did not have an answer to it on turn 1, the game was actually over. You know how many games I won by going Undertaker, coin Undertaker, and my opponent went, oh, I lose, and they just conceded. It was fantastic. And yet, during this era, I never hit Legend, by the way. Just for the record, never hit Legend. But anyways, go to the next slide. Mad Scientist. Okay. Now, I beg you the question, chat. Is this the best 2-drop of all time? I'll wait. I think legitimately this is the best 2-drop of all time. That is my opinion. which is crazy to think because this card came out months after Hearthstone's release. But I think legitimately it would see a ton of play currently in Hearthstone. Thoughts? Concerns? Milos is right there. Don't know if it's I don't think Keleseth is better than Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist is a very nutty card. Let's just walk in perspective here. 2-mana 2/2, which is a fine stat line. But not only did it draw you a card, it put it onto the battlefield. Like, it's crazy. And it was a secret, which is even better in some cases. Now, obviously, I don't think every class liked this card because not every class has secrets. This card was insane. The secrets made it, not the card itself. Okay, so then how come you just don't put secrets in the deck? Incorrect take. Next slide. Lotheb. We know Lotheb. The first card to make me cry, and then I put a little bit of a quote. Oh, please don't play Lotheb, right? Because I'm crying, right? You guys, all of you guys have been there, right? Lotheb, actually insane. 5 mana, 5/5 battlecry. Enemy spells cost 5 more next turn. The amount of times I've just won a game from dropping Lotheb on 5, it was phenomenal. Not as powerful as Undertaker was in its prime, but I think we could all kind of agree that Lotheb would see play today. Am I right or wrong? Of course I'm right, because it still sees play in Wild. This is like daddy's first card game right here, you know? Like, this is when you were in that shit. So, Lotheb, obviously. Next up, Voidcaller, mana cheating. What do we know about mana cheating? Very good. Also, Voidcaller, I hardly know her. This is the first instance, I believe, I could be wrong, other than maybe Preparation. I guess you can count Prep. And there's that one card in Shaman, Farsight. But we're not really talking about Farsight. Where you could actually pull a card. You could cheat a card out. I'm going to say Preparation. I don't know if I really want to count Farsight. That doesn't make my argument even better. But this was the first time that we saw the ability to pull a 9-mana card from your hand like that. Like that. Which I don't think was in Classic Hearthstone. Obviously, very, very good card. But the amount of times where Voidcaller would just decide a game on the spot because of this amount of mana cheating was extremely powerful. And we do see this effect used quite often. First, it's not mana cheating, it's mana making. Fair enough. Fair enough. Ancestor's Call was in Shaman. It was added in the Grand Tournament. Naxxramas had the first one, which was Voidcaller. And now, all of a sudden, we're going from Voidcaller into Doomguard, getting rid of the Battlecry, or, once Mal'Ganis came into play, you play Mal'Ganis into the Voidcaller. There's just, the list kind of goes on and on here. Voidcaller was really, really good. It was played in like the mid-range Zoo Warlock deck and ended up being one of the best cards Warlock's ever received in the early days of Hearthstone. Very, very good card. Very, very, very good card. Next. Sorry, what is this one? Finish the slide later. Editor note, keep it up, champ. You're doing a great job. Everybody's loving this. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. I hope you guys are having a good time. We have Death's Bite, which is arguably Warrior's best weapon of all time. And I would say was probably the coolest looking. Would Death's Bite see play today, chat? I kind of think it would. I think it would see play today. Regardless, during its era, it was very good. Isn't the 4-mana 2/2 weapon just better most of the time? Well, it depends what you want. This is more damage. Right? I'm not only thinking about the damage to all minions. I'm thinking about the actual damage here. Because this is actually quite a bit of damage. Axe of the Forefathers is a 2/2. This is a 4/2. you're doing 8 damage to their dome, and you get the death battle effect, which you can hold on to at some point. So there is a slight difference here. They both have their individual, you know, positives and negatives. That being said, during its era of Curse of Naxxramas, like we're going from classic, even though Fiery War Axe is very good, Deathspite still saw a ton of play and will see continued play because Grim Patron came out about a year after this set came out. All I'm saying is, and you guys can get my thesis, right? This was an insanely good card to add to the game during Curse of Naxxramas. You get what I'm saying? All right, cool. Next on the list, the GOAT. Editor note, engage with the audience with a simple question. Got smash or pass Sludge Belcher. Now, I will say, it used to be a 3-5. I just didn't want to go find like the older images because it would take me like 8 years to find it. Sludge Belcher as a 5-minute 3-5 was an absolute menace to deal with back in the day. Absolute menace to deal with back in the day. Now, unfortunately for Sludge Belcher, during its time in Curse of Naxxramas, Undertaker would be a little bit too fast. So sometimes you would just lose the game to Undertaker because obviously it was insanely powerful. But for slower late game, I don't know if you could say late mid-range decks or just control decks in general, very, very powerful card. And if you look at the 5-drop slot during Classic, the only other 5-drop card that was like remotely playable was Azure Drake. So I'm just saying, the 5-drop slot was very good. Haunted Creeper, an insane aggro 2-mana card. Now, I put up Mad Scientist before because I think Mad Scientist is just generally a better card. But Haunted Creeper was one of the GOATs following after Undertaker because of the fact that it left not only a Death Rattle minion, but the 2/1/1 Spectral Spiders that you had to deal with. And during Classic, there was not really any other card that did this. And what that meant was every single aggro deck and mid-range hunter for the most part then added it to the deck. I think personally, and I could be wrong, Haunted Creeper could see play today. Thoughts? In current standard, I should say. I think there is definitely a chance that aggro decks would consider a card like this. I'm talking Druid, and I'm talking... We don't have to name another class. I already named one. All right. Next, let's do an experiment, chat. I think this is the last slide, by the way. Did you guys like my slideshow? This is what the whole video is actually based on, for the record, by the way. W's for the slideshow or no? No one runs Creeper in Wild? Yeah, but Wild is every card in the world, right, Skull? Like, in Standard, it's a smaller pool, right? Anyways, let's do an experiment here, chat. What we're gonna do is ask ourselves, would these current cards see play in Standard? Would Poison Seed see play in Standard right now? If it was in Standard, would Poison Seeds see play? It is currently ran in Wild for Druid, just for the record, because it is a very, very good form of removal. And on top of that, right now, Druid doesn't have a ton of removal to deal with stuff. So you could see the play. You could see it. Also, yeah, like dealing with Tortolas actually could be sick as hell. I think it would see play, right? I think it's pretty strong. Web Spinner, a 1-mana 1/1 death battle, get a random beast. Me personally, I'm not 100% sure if it would. This one might be a little bit too slow. But that being said, it was ran during Curse of Naxxramas, but I'm just putting it out there. Duplicate. When a friendly minion dies, put 2 copies of it into your hand. This one, I don't think so. Duplicate wasn't a great card regardless because of in general. It was one of the more weak secrets that Mage got, but it did lead to some fun interactions for sure. Watching Stevo's series of getting people to Yugo was how I found you in CGB. I'm glad I did. Rip to go. Yeah, man. RIP. Hope it's unfortunate for sure. Just follow you on here and I found out you about via MTD's reaction to your video. From there, I followed you to Seema's channel where you did the collabs with them. You, CGB, and Seema made such fun content together. Then you played Commander. Condolences. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm gonna miss him, dude, a ton. I'm gonna miss him a ton. It is incredibly unfortunate. It was godlike in arena. Well, this is an arena. Actually, this would be a nerf to Mage so they don't want to discover it. True. What about Avenge? Obviously, secret decks are not super powerful for Paladin right now, but Avenge was a very good secret in the game. During its era, 1 mana to gain +3/+2 was pretty great for an aggro deck. And right now, you could make the case that like the Dude Paladin deck might want to run this, but there's not really a huge reason to run secrets early in standard. That being said, this card, when it was released, added quite a big buff to Paladin for board-centric decks. This was a good card. And eventually we would lead to Secret Paladin. Dark Cultist. 3 mana, 3/4. Death Rattle, give a random friendly minion +3 health. This one, I don't think so. But again, during its era of Curse of Naxxramas, it was like okay. It was okay. The problem is that let me pull up paint real fast because I need to make a point here. Okay, like this is power level, right? This is power level. And I'll just say classic. Oh God. This is classic, right? And then let me do a different color so we get the point. This is where Priest was on the a little bit higher because there was, I think it was near the bottom for sure. Just for other context, we'll put like Rogue like up here for power level, right? So when you're doing like power creep over, you know, a pretty unfortunate class in classic, you know, it doesn't take that much to power creep the class is basically what I'm saying. All right, like it went from like here to basically like, you know, here, and that's not great. But anyways, we don't have to worry about that. We can skip this card. This card doesn't exist in my mind. It was unplayable. All right, Reincarnate. 1 mana, destroy. Was it 2 mana back in the day? It might have been 1. Actually, it might have been 2. Was it 2? I think it was 2. 2 makes sense. Anyways, let's pretend it's 2. 2 mana, destroy a minion, then return it to life with full health. Do we think this card would be playable in current standard? I'm going to make the case for you. Yes. Because here's the thing. Colossals, which we have them currently in the game, would get resummoned with all of their appendages. And that shit would go crazy. Found you from Can Fight a Coyote and Win Tag. Finally, a Twitch streamer is capable enough for me to watch. There we go. There we go. I think Reincarnate would go crazy in standard Hearthstone. Just making my points. Just making my points. Void Caller. Would it see play in current standard? Now, the question ends up being what demons are in the game. Let's go take a peek. Good enough, maybe. Good enough. Could be okay. I mean, definitely need a little bit better demons for sure. They're not like insane. Like this is fine. This is fine. Like we definitely need some better demons for sure. But I mean, if we had the right demons in standard, I think this card would be absolutely playable. Thoughts? I think we can all make the case here, right? No one is disagreeing with your points. Listen, I have to talk about it. I think Deathbite would be playable. I'm just putting it out there. Undertaker. You like how I bypassed that one so I get literally no negative comments towards that? Do we think that Undertaker would see play in current standard? Thinking to myself. Probably not. There might be a chance. Might be a chance. Anything but playing the game XDD XPP, I can't. Wait, what the hell is XPP? Wait, Dreads, you didn't tell me. Did you have fun last night on Oh Dear or no? Not with the current. Okay, so basically what we're saying is there's a chance this gets played, right? Okay, all right. I'm just putting it out there. Okay, cool. What about the old zombie chow? Actually, I should have put this in my PowerPoint. Why did I not put this in my PowerPoint? This card's goated, bro. 1 mana, 2/3 death rattle, store 5 health to your enemy hero. You don't care if you're a control deck. And it's got 3 health, which is actually massive for a 2-drop. Or for a 1-drop, I should say. I think Zombie Chow would see play. No, I think it would. I think it would. It would go crazy. Actually, it'd be like probably insane with the Hunter card, right? Big fan. We don't have to talk about this. Actually, dude, okay, hold on. Low key though, low key. Echoing Ooze in some kind of buff deck. There's so many good buffs now. I'm low key a believer. Like back in the day of Curse of Naxxramas, this card wasn't really popping off, but you know what? I think it has a chance. I think this card would see play on God. This card would see play on God. This is a Tech W card, so like it depends on what the metagame looks like, but you know what I mean? Maybe. All right, let's talk about Nerubian. Now, we do have currently in standard a 1 mana 0/2 egg that does grow. Now, Nerubian egg was very good back in Curse of Naxxramas, and it was one of the reasons why Warlock ended up being even better than it was. Because you could also, it also was a death battle for Undertaker. I don't know if it was played very often for it, though. I think this card would absolutely see play in current standard. I think for an aggro deck, it'd be annoying. Very, very good card. Eggs are a good source of protein in Nerubians. What the hell? Unstable Ghoul. Now this one I'm a little iffy on because there's just better versions of this currently, so I'm not very optimistic on it, but maybe we could skip Dancing Stars. We don't need to talk about that one. Okay, what do we think about Death Lord? Again, I think it could see play. I'm pretty optimistic about it. The thick ass. It is a thick ass. I think this loses you the game a lot right now. Well, it wasn't played in every single deck, to be completely fair, but if you need it, could be okay. We had better clears in Nax than right now, so I'd say he wouldn't be played. True. What about the Shade? Probably not Shade. Shade was good during its time. It was played a lot in Druid when it first came out. In Standard right now, it'd probably be too slow. I think you need more stats for this to get played. This would be too slow. We don't have to talk about that card. I don't think Baron's really got it either. This card doesn't have it either. Fugan, Lotheb, 100%. Sludge Belcher, I think there's potentially a chance it might be too slow, but if it was a 3/6, maybe. Spectral Knight was playable during its time. I think right now it would be unplayable. But it was like the first 5-drop to ever have like elusive on it. Baron 100% sees playing Egg. I'm going to disagree with you, but you're proving my point. So I appreciate it. Not playable for sure, and probably not playable either. Anyways, if we tally it up, and I'm just doing this in my head, probably around 50% of the cards from Naxxramas could see play currently in Standard. Which then we go back to the original thesis here, chat. Is Naxxramas the highest power creep we've ever seen in Hearthstone? I'll let you guys decide. That's my point. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk today. I don't know if this was fun or not, but thank you for listening.